Okay, so we looked at two different ways to create patterns, one using just vectorized elements and another using um, brushes and or imagery from Photoshop and saving that out as a TIFF and bringing it in, and then even combining that with vectorized artwork as well. So what you're going to see is if we create two different layers here, I'll go ahead and copy this and create a new layer and paste it, is that we have two different patterns here as well, right? So we have the first one that we created and the second one here as well. Go ahead and erase this. So we have our two different patterns. And again, those two patterns can be found within your swatches over here. I should mention this as well. You can always go in and edit these by double clicking into them. If I double click back into that pattern, it will open up that pattern. If I wanted to, let's say I wanted to add another sort of yellow shape inside here or something like that, I could do that. Bring that to the back. Add one more here. If I wanted to go ahead and do that, I can just hit done and it will change that pattern for me. So you can always edit those by double clicking into those specific patterns, making any sort of changes you want. And if you hit done, it will make that change for you. I'm gonna go ahead and cancel that one out. So those are ways to edit that pattern after you've already created them. So once you've created them, let's look at some ways to put those into the high resolution mockups that we need to. So again, the objects that you're going to use need to be related to the subject that you've chosen to some degree or another, whether that's some sort of stationery set or clothing or something maybe a little bit more unique. If it is something more unique, you might have to photograph that piece yourself or find some sort of high resolution photograph and use Photoshop to mock that up. So if anybody needs some help with that, I'd be more than happy to assist you with that one-on-one. But what we're going to look at here is just using a high resolution mockup that we download in order to incorporate our patterns onto that. So a lot of times you can just Google different mockups for specific things. I use Mockup World a lot. It has a lot of free mockups that you can browse here. If you go into Browse Free Mockups, it has things that are specific to food and beverage, fashion and apparel, so on and so forth. So I went ahead and found a pillow that I liked mockup for this. So you might, you could always do a pillow and, or possibly this pillow bedspread and have something related to that as well. Or, obviously there's a lot of different options that you guys could explore here as well. But I went ahead and downloaded the pillow and I had to enter my email and it sent me a download link. And what it did was it sent me a zip file here. I'll go ahead and open this up. And I went ahead and, if you double click on the zip file, it opens it up and it should open up a PSD file. And we'll go ahead and open that up now. And it all depends on what your mockup looks like, but a lot of times they will have some sort of advertising or something like that going on. All of these layers are going to be editable though, so we can go ahead and just delete that layer that has the advertising on it. And most of the time you're going to see some sort of layer on here that's going to say place your design here or design work here. And I know that this is actually the layer that I need to double click on to incorporate my pattern into this because of what it says there. And also it has this icon letting me know that this is a smart object. So what I can do is I can double click into this smart object thumbnail and it opens up a new tab for me, which is actually linked to that specific layer. So what I can do here is I can then, let me go back into Illustrator and go ahead and grab one of my patterns that I have here. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab this pattern and copy this. And actually, before I do that, let's put a background color to this so it's not just white, just to give it a little bit more customization. Even if it was maybe a, I don't know, a really light blue or something like that. And I'm just going to drop that to the back. Okay, great. So I'm just going to go ahead and take my pattern here. And I'm going to copy that and I'm going to go ahead and just go back into Photoshop here, and you could also save that and file place it if you'd like to as well, but I'm just going to go ahead and just paste it It's going to ask me, how do I want to paste this? I'm going to go ahead and just paste it as pixels for now. And then I'm just going to have it span the entire artboard here and hit enter. And now the beauty of these mockups is I can come up here to File, Save. And if I go ahead and close this tab, that mockup is going to automatically appear on my pillow that I've created. So it corresponds with the file that we just opened, that we just saved, and it go ahead and places it in that mockup. And it's great because it does a lot of these little things for you, the way it sort of wraps around the objects and things like that. And we don't have to stop there. And a lot of times there's abilities to go into the background. Let's say we wanted to place some sort of imagery in the background here, or even just change the color of the background. Maybe we want to sample one of our colors inside the artwork here. Let's do our bright yellow, why not? And hit OK. So now, we have this really beautiful mockup that we can use for our high resolution display. And obviously we would need one more mockup with an additional pattern, but you can see how quickly I was able to create that pattern. This one was based off of the Photoshop brushes as well as the vectorized artwork. I downloaded the mockup through Mockup World, and then I opened that up. I went into the Place Your Design File Here layer, just double clicked into that thumbnail and dropped my artwork in there. And once you have that in place, you just go to File, Save, go ahead and close that tab, and the artwork should automatically be placed in your mockup. Now from here, I'll just have to go in and save out my final mockup. So I can title this Surface Design for my working file as a Photoshop. And then at the very end, you'd want to save all of these out as individual PDFs and include them all as a multiple page PDF along with your sketches and your mood board and all the other requirements that are necessary for the specific project. So make sure to double check on the assignment sheet before you submit. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, excuse me. I hope you guys have some fun with this project, and good luck.